All right, here with Ashley Haruko, as journalist with KUOW Public Radio. Ashley, I wanted to hit you up because I saw the article here that you wrote, and it says feces in a locker and other harassment. Racism is rife in the King County Corrections, employees say. Please tell us all about it.
So yeah, I mean, this story, and to summarize it, is just I've talked to a lot of corrections officers within the jail in King County, and they have told me about different levels of racism that's happening there, not only overt racism, but also institutional racism in different forms. Longtime employees there told me that they faced harassment, name calling. One employee, a 30-year-old veteran, Stephen Porter, told me not once but twice in the last 5 years he's found feces wadded up in toilet paper in his shoes. His locker has been vandalized, and he says his complaints fall on deaf ears. And this is not only him. This is multiple COs that have told me this and shared this story with me, that there's racism rife there, and nothing's being done.
Now, I'm reading through this article. Of course, the big story that popped out was Anthony Eigner, who was a CO there, who was also used to be in the U.S. Marine Corps and ended up committing suicide. Can you talk more about Anthony Eigner?
Yeah, so Anthony Eigner was in the Marines. He was hired on at the King County Jail in 2014. He soon started to notice kind of this racism undercurrent there. Employees would criticize the way he looked, or, when he grew out his hair, his afro. They compared him to a 70s porn star. They compared his family to the movie Black Panther, just like jokes nonstop. And that's the kind of culture there is there. But not only that, but he started feeling burned out. He was being placed on booking a lot, which is one of the more stressful posts there at the jail. It's more involved, more time consuming. And he asked his superior, hey, I need a break. I'm really burnt out. This is really wearing me down, multiple times, and they kind of ignored his requests. And for Anthony, it seemed like that was just it. All of the name calling, all of the things that he's reporting, his complaints about, brown and Black inmates being treated with excessive force and nothing happening about those. It just all kind of stemmed to this one point where the straw just broke the camel's back, and he went up to the 11th floor where he wasn't supposed to be. He got into this altercation with his superior, who essentially rocked his taser from his holster and threatened to forcibly remove Anthony Eigner from the jail where he worked. And after that, he was placed on administrative leave. He was eventually fired, and he killed himself 6 months later.
Wow. And something else that you mentioned in here was some of the stuff that's on social media. And you talk about one of the corrections officers used a photo of Kyle Rittenhouse, and that was the gunman there in Kenosha, Wisconsin. And basically the meme said, "Great shot, 2 less votes for Uncle Joe. Trump, Trump, Trump."
Yeah, exactly. So this is just one post that was kind of shared online by Sade Smith, who is an attorney here locally, who was sent these posts by a whistleblower there within the jail. And his post kind of just encapsulates the kind of tension that's growing there. And I've heard this from other COs too, that this year it's gotten much worse. It feels more divisive than ever, that there is this fraction there of employees who are very much so Trump supporters, and they hold these beliefs that, these protesters, that post speaks for itself. What he wrote speaks for itself. And it was concerning not only to the COs there, but it's concerning to protesters as well, who might find themselves in the jail.
Right. And one of the biggest things that came across, amongst many big things here in this article, is it seems to be that the problems there at the jail are systemic, meaning that, it's embedded, it's baked into the cake, and there's no easy fix. You got some people who say that they've been filing complaints for years and years, and there's been no action on it. Is that what you're finding and what your reporting found, a systemic problem there at the jail?
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. It's systemic. It's continuing on. When you don't, I asked one longtime corrections officer, how do we change this? What do we do to change it? How can we make things better? What do you wish would have changed? And she said, I wish that they would have brought the hammer down on wrongdoers instead of letting people who did wrong walk away with no more than a slap on the wrist or, a little bit of paid administrative leave. Like, there is no consequences for these kinds of actions. And so everyone there knows they can get away with it.
All right, before I let you go, what question didn't I ask you here that you want people to know about this article?
I guess it's just, I guess the most interesting thing to me was the fact that these CEOs were so willing to talk to me. And it's not that these problems just came about. I feel like it's just no one's listening,
Wow. Well, maybe this article's out now. People will listen more. I do know that, like, we hear these kind of complaints across the county, across all kinds of different positions over there in the county. Ashley, how can people keep up with you on KUOW?
You can follow me on Twitter, online, and I will pull up my address right now because I don't know it off the top of my head. It's at Ashley Haruko. And then you can follow, if you have a tip, if you want to reach me, I'd love to talk with people. My email address is haruko@kuow.org. And one more thing, you said about hearing complaints across the county. After I published this article, I started getting emails from employees across the county saying that there is racism in their own departments. It's not just a county jail. It is widespread.